All right. So, you guys, today's topic of conversation is an article from Game Informer, right? I know Game Informer is not exactly, the most reliable news source, but this really grabbed my attention because of something Microsoft, Xbox, whatever you want to call them nowadays, prides itself on when it comes to Game Pass. So, let's get into this article, you guys. So of course they got the big old banner with, price. They got soap. And of course we come down here. Xbox reportedly debating putting Call of Duty on Game Pass alongside price hike. This to me, this is something to me that wouldn't sit right is if they don't put Call of Duty on the Game Pass. Because one thing that they really harped on, especially at the beginning of the year when they started, announcing, well, a couple months ago, not quite the beginning of the year, but when they started announcing that they were going to have Xbox exclusives going to other platforms, was that they pride themselves on Xbox or Microsoft first party games day one on Game Pass. Guess what Activision Blizzard is now? Go ahead. It's a Microsoft, game. So I would expect that eventually Call of Duties would come to Game Pass annually, much like they do. And the shitty part is like there's always going to be a talk about price hikes. Jesus Christ, all the Paper Mario Thousand Door ads. Anyways, Microsoft is reportedly debating putting Call of Duty on Xbox Game Pass alongside a price hike to the subscription service. This comes from a news report at The Verge that follows news earlier this week that Xbox was closing some of its Bethesda studios, including Hi-Fi Rush team Tango Gameworks and Redfall developer Arcane Austin, which I talked about the other day. By the way, somebody did bring it up that Arcane Austin, the only game that they really put out there that was big was Prey. I thought they did Dishonored as well. That was my bad. We're going to correct that right now. All they did was Prey. The Verge, Tom Warren writes, Microsoft has also had internal debates about whether to put new releases of Call of Duty into Game Pass. I understand this is a debate that has been ongoing internally for quite some time, with concerns for some that the revenue from Call of Duty typically generates for Activision Blizzard will be undermined by Game Pass. Truth be told, I'm going to just put this out here. I think if you put it on Game Pass, you would probably sell more subscriptions to Game Pass, especially if it's a day one game that comes to it. I don't think it would undermine too much of Activision Blizzard because guess what? You own Activision Blizzard. So the biggest thing to me is, are they going to start doing what Sony does, which is a lot of the big Sony titles, as soon as they first get released, they don't put them on PlayStation Plus right from the rip. Instead, they wait. This touches on a potential issue players and analysts have pointed out with the Xbox strategy after spending billions on acquisitions in recent years. Xbox presumably needs to make more money. Yeah, because you reached into Daddy Microsoft's pocket. It was like, money, please, like they do on Parks and Rec. And, I think that is what's going to be the downfall of the Xbox ultimately. However, it's a big draw to a platform is Game Pass. Ideally, big new releases. My dyslexia kicked in hardcore right there. And critical hits like Hi-Fi Rush and Call of Duty games bring in large swaths of new subscriber, which offsets the loss of full price sales that happen because of Game Pass. And I'm going to tell you right now, it really makes me wonder what percentage of Game Pass users keep Game Pass, but they don't use it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that gym membership. Everybody's got a gym membership. And you keep it active. But how often do you use it? It's okay. Leave it down in the comments. Like, I'm not going to judge you. I'm just saying. But Game Pass subscriptions have leveled off with a peak around 2019 to 2021. If the Game Pass isn't getting new subscribers, if Game Pass isn't getting new subscribers and Game Pass release hurts traditional sales of games, it's easy to see why the company might be debating internally about whether or not something like a new Call of Duty, which always the best-selling game of any given year, should launch with Game Pass. I think ultimately, if they were smart, of course you're going to have the individuals that's like, I am not going to commit to Game Pass. I'm going to outright buy the game, right? But you're also going to have the individuals that are like, yo, I am going to subscribe to Game Pass and keep it for a couple months and potentially get the revenue, whether, they pay, I can't remember. It's either 15 or $20, whatever it is for Game Pass. And you collect their, what is it, $45 or $60. But I think the biggest thing that's going to be the driving point for this is the sales on the PlayStation. And then on top of that, I believe they did sign a deal with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it's coming to the Switch 1 or Switch 2, but I do believe they did sign a deal with Nintendo to bring their games over there. So, with that being said, I think they're going to generate a lot of revenue off of just PlayStation and Nintendo and be able to have potentially Call of Duty as a Game Pass day one, which would be smart. Because the real question is, how many people moving forward are going to end up getting an Xbox with how everything has been transpiring over the last couple months? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think I'm going to buy another Xbox. I think I'm going to go with PlayStation if I'm going to get a console. And of course, I got to get my Nintendo because of Pokemon. But I feel like Game Pass, this move could potentially drive some console sales if they're like, yo, Call of Duty Day 1 Game Pass, $15, $20 a month. I can't remember how much it is. And, even if they increase it to $25 a month, there's going to be a lot of people out there that might be like, yo, sign me up. But that's just one of those things you're just going to have to debate. Alongside with this debate, The Verge's report states Microsoft is also considering increasing the price of Game Pass Ultimate again, noting that this and Call of Duty discussions are just considered and might remain that. For more, read Game Informer, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. But I will admit, Modern Warfare 3 was dog shit. But this right here is actually a very interesting topic of conversation. I think if they brought Call of Duty Day 1 to Game Pass and they offered all the back catalogs of Call of Duty on Game Pass, and with how, I will admit, I did play Modern Warfare 2 on my Xbox Series X, a month or two ago, and we were getting full lobbies on the Xbox. I think that this could be a selling point for Microsoft. Let's go full screen. So, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think that it's a good idea to have potentially Call of Duty go to Game Pass, right? Do you think it could potentially drive sales? And on top of that, if it goes to Game Pass day one and they increase the cost of Game Pass by let's say $5, do you think that would be worth it? Let me know down in the comment section down below, because I'm genuinely curious to see what are you guys' thoughts on this. I know there were people that on my last Xbox video where they're like, you're on all kinds of copium for Phil Spencer, but whatever. But I do think that this might actually be a decent move and could potentially pull out the Xbox just a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to fully save it. I'm just saying there's potential. Anyways, you guys, have a great and wonderful day. Don't forget, mash that like button, subscribe. We're on our way to 8,000, and I can't do it without you guys. You guys are awesome. Let me know down below, what's some stuff you want to see? Or do you want me to just keep, the copium train going with Xbox? Because a lot of people are like, dude, you're full of shit. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you later, guys.